Just to clarify Laura's question, she was just telling you what she's researching, but her actual question is more general. It's what can we do as one to finish the dropout crisis, and how can we unite as one and finish it?
I would like to speak to that. I know that former past board members for Ravenswood City School District have, on a number of occasions, lamented about how Stanford is here and they use East Palo Alto as a petri dish, as a test dish, as this place to come and just do your research, write your book, and leave. And I've always had a personal issue myself with having Stanford just 3 miles away, not really work towards the application model. I mean, there's a lot to be said about research. A lot of good things come out of research. Lots of good theories that we get to try to practice and model and learn from. But I think that ways that we can all work together, not that Stanford would need to take the lead, but Stanford being the institution that it is, could really use its resources to research this problem, publish the information and the conclusions that they've come to with this problem, and not just that, but then find ways to apply what they have learned to correct the problem. Whereas we would all be able to work together. There needs to be someone who can take the lead. But I think also you all have started the process tonight by making us sit and think and try to figure out what is the problem. Is it just engagement? Is it just teaching and learning? Is it just money? We know that it's not just any one of those things. And so I think that personally, again, it's just me personally, Stanford has lots of resources to be able to truly study this issue, and we could all work together. Palo Alto, Sequoia, Aspire, Ravenswood, all working together to really come up with a very logical solution.
Well, I'll just chime in here too. First of all, I just want to say that one of the hats that I wear is a member of the National Advisory Board for the Haas Center at Stanford. And I am just thrilled to death that the Haas Center, which really is a public service organization, it tries to incorporate the notion of public service into Stanford University and encourage students at Stanford to go into careers in public service. And if not go into careers, at least be exposed to public service. I think they are putting their money where their mouth is by virtue of the fact that they are supporting heavily and substantially the Stanford charter school that Dr. Gemma spoke of, which is right down the road in Menlo Park. They are providing and coordinating all the resources now for with the School of Education and the Haas Center, and I'm very impressed with what I see them doing. But the larger question was, what can all of us as our institutions do to help with this problem of students dropping out? And I'd like to bring up something that I haven't heard tonight, or I guess just in passing, and that is, I think we all need to really do a better job of instilling in our students, and these all your younger brothers and sisters who are at home, the whole notion of personal responsibility. You know, all of us are sitting up here, and all of us went through school to varying degrees, and many of us did come from very, very humble backgrounds, and many of us came through school when there were no such thing as tutors, and there were no such thing as college track, and there was no, you know, and so what is it that made that difference, that some people went on and became very successful and others didn't? And what I believe a lot of it boils down to is personal responsibility. You guys have demonstrated that. You're here tonight, you're doing your job, you're not only doing your job, you're not only doing what's minimally required, you're taking it a step further. And if more students did that and took responsibility for their own action, regardless of whether or not they have the resources or whether they're middle class or lower class or working class or whatever, it doesn't really matter, because it's you that gets up in the morning, and what you do with your life that day is your responsibility. You're making those choices. And somehow we've got to get that across to more students. And I'm thinking of a student that was in my class when I retired from administration at Kenyatta. I taught sociology for a number of years, and I had a student who was, was very bright, one of my best students. He lived in East Palo Alto. He announced to the class, to my shock, that he graduated by the skin of his teeth from one of our high schools. So I talked to him afterwards. I said, what happened? Why did you barely graduate? Obviously you've got great capability. And he said, Dr. Martinez, I have to tell you, he says, I went to one of the best high schools around. They offered me every single thing I needed. They offered me tutors. They had me in special classes. They had me in, special, workshops. I went to summer school. I did all these. He said, but when it came right down to it, I just wanted to hang out with my friends. And that was more important to me than doing my job as a student. And I did, and he was mature enough to admit that. And I just think there's so many other students, and many of you probably know them. How do we do that? I think peer to peer, each one of you, to your brothers and sisters, to your friends who aren't at this academy. I think it's all of our jobs. All of our institutions have to do a better job of telling students, saying, look, we've got resources to help you. I don't know how long we're going to have those resources, because the way things are going in the state, we may not have any resources beyond just a teacher in a classroom. But what you do with it is going to make the difference. I mean, that's the choice you have. Are you going to make the best of what you do have, or are you going to sit back and say, well, where's my tutor? Where's my special help? Where's my special class? I need more time. I can't do this. Work's too hard. I mean, those are the things that I hear too often in some of the classes I visit. So that's just my 2 cents.
If I could, thank you. Wearing my Ravenswood hat. One of the things that I think, or what I think we need to do, is to begin to work together. And this is an opportunity for us to open up dialogue. For many years, there was a reluctance on the part of former Ravenswood school board members from even having a conversation with the Sequoia district, which of course doesn't make any sense since our kids are going to the Sequoia district. So what I think we need to do is work collaboratively and recognize that we all are about student achievement, and that we focus on that and work together, and that effort of improving communication, coming up with joint strategies that can help students from birth to when they graduate from college is one of the things that we need to work on.